How did the taboo of crossing the sea and losing caste and social respectability originate in Indian society, considering ancient Indian kingdoms were very successful seafarers like the Kalingas, Cholas, Pallavas, Zamorins, Gujarati merchants, etc.? This is a fantastic question. Brilliant, brilliant. I like that these questions are occurring to us now because our education system doesn't allow us to ask questions. So, this is a great question. And you are absolutely right. Ancient India was known for its sea voyages. The Rig Veda itself mentions ships which have 100 oars. And there is a lot of evidence of Indians crossing great distances by sea. If you look at the history of Australia, if you look at the genetics of the aboriginal Australian people, the indigenous people of Australia, then you find that around 4,500 years ago, there was an infusion of Indian genes in their population. And today, about 12% of the genetics of Australia's aboriginal people is of Indian origin, which proves that Indians crossed this vast distance to Australia by sea and migrated into Australia and settled down there and contributed their genetics. That is 4,500 years ago during the Harappan phase of our civilization. And we know that we have a great deal of influence in Eastern Africa. Our merchants have been traveling there for centuries, and many of them have settled down there. The Cholas are well known for conquering the whole of Southeast Asia, all the way to the Philippines. So clearly, Indians were routinely undertaking great naval voyages. And yet, we know that in the past few centuries, there was this taboo that we should not cross the ocean. Otherwise, otherwise you lose your caste or respectability or whatever. That did happen. So how did we go from these great seafaring civilization to a civilization that says that you should not cross the ocean? It is bad for you. That is a fascinating question. So here is what I think happened. Our historians, once again, will not answer this question. I'm going to answer it for you. So when the Turkic invasions of India happened, India's society went into a shell. If you look at ancient sculptures and paintings and carvings of Indian people, you will see that Indian men and women used to wear very less clothing. Both men and women used to be topless, essentially, or they used to wear a very slim or thin garment on the top. But after the Turkic invasions of India, you find that women went into the parda. They used to start doing the gungat, and they started covering their faces. This was a survival tactic because that was the only way you could retain your honor. So India's society went into a shell. And once again, in the old days, Indian men, the sons of families, could go happily on long voyages, which could take several years, and their family would be safe. Nothing would happen to them. But after the Turkic invasions of India, it became essential for all family members to stay together, especially the men, to protect the family. And therefore, I believe this taboo was put into place. Don't cross the oceans. Don't go far away from your family. Stay together and protect each other. So I believe that is the reason why over time this taboo was instituted, that Indians should not cross the sea. So I think it was just a survival tactic. It is not part of our culture or civilization, despite what people like Devdutt Patnaik will try to teach you. That is all nonsense. Indians have always been very, very enthusiastic seafarers, always. So it is time we rediscover our sense of adventure, right?